What's going on, everybody? This is Super Robot Ed, and today we're going to do a video in my series number 3 of the Road to Studio 86. And this one is going to be using United Rodimus, aka Classics Hot Rod, repainted to look more like animation model Rodimus Prime. And this was one of my favorites. I know the best one will always be Henkei. But this was my favorite because if you ever watch the Headmasters cartoon, he's still, in Japan, he's still kind of referred to as Rodimus, even though he's Hot Rod. But then he becomes, Rodimus Prime. His color actually changes, and he changes to this color. So it's a deep maroon with the orange emblem on the front. And there is one that's painted similar to him. Oops, see, he's old. I've had him for quite a while. There are some that are painted similar to him. I believe the one that's in the 3-pack that comes with the 2 other Junkions, but that has a different pattern, and it's all red and yellow, where they actually add the orange, where most of the time the spoiler and the inner legs match. With this, they gave him the orange, and if you can see here, he has the deep maroon waist. This is all black, and he has the flame pattern is very similar to Rodimus. Whereas the flame pattern on the one that comes with the red guard is kind of angular. Almost looks like kind of more like an emblem than this does. But he does have the remolded peg that came out. Because this came out at the time when Power Core Combiners came out. And you're supposed to be able to use like a Power Core Combiner with him. And this is the actual original gun because it has the orange shooter. But I don't have the missile. It's a very dark blue missile. The missile always matches the window, so the color of him is a dark window, and he's got various two-tones here, and on the side he's got the flames and everything. So this was one of my go-to like hot rod. I still used him as hot rod. I just called him like Rodimus, but not Rodimus Prime. He was just Rodimus in a sense. Like he had the Matrix and had to give it back to Prime, and they had the last episode in season 3 of Transformers. So as you can see here, the head has a little bit of paint on it. It's very dark. And then we're going to look at it from the back real quick. These are stark yellow. This is the only yellow that's on him, which I like. Because if you've ever seen that one that comes with the two Junkions, it doesn't look right. And, of course, he's got the gun, no missile. The inside of the fist are kind of a chalk grayish white, and he has the little thing that comes out and things of that nature, so that's pretty cool. A lot of people didn't know that he had a sliding waist or crotch mechanism that kind of slid in and out. As you can see it here during transformation. Let me lift the arms up so you can see, to kind of give him a more pronounced look. Now, he really can't do a waist swivel, but it does make him look a little better, and it does make him a bit more stable. But of course, over time, we really did need a new one because he was rather small. His head is really small. It's a shame how they made his head that small. But, he's still a cool looking figure, one of the best figures that I love from the Classics line. And just comparisons to some deluxes, because he was a deluxe. He was actually a small deluxe, believe it or not. Here's Smokescreen, and that's just to let you know that he was on the smaller side. He was pretty much Classics Bumblebee was him the same height. There's Smokescreen, and then here's what we have as a current small deluxe, the mini bots here. Cliff Jumper. And you can see that they're pretty much, he could fit in just fine. But his proportions are weird. Then I compare him to some other Rodimuses that I own. This was my Titan's Return. Yes, I know, he's not the greatest. Little repro labels on him to make him look a little better, but, this is what we had. And then, to counter that, there's the Shattered Glass Repro labels upgrade to the Rodimus Unit Cronus, so we can give him that purple Autobot sticker, and I made him the Target Master. So he was Target Master right off the bat. And this is one of the Target Masters that come with the Siege Thundercracker. I forgot his name. But I used it for him the minute I got it, so he could be Target Master. Evil Rodimus, or Evil Hot Rod. And he's a little bigger. He's sort of more Voyager size than he is. But he's still not Rodimus, because we know hopefully Earthrod's going to give us a real Rodimus. But yeah, some other things that I want to point out about United. They do use the chrome in certain places. Like, it's not as egregious as it was with how Henkei was. Yes, there's a difference between Henkei and United, where United was basically reveal the shield in Generations for America and parts of Universe. But they were a little more generous with the chrome. So over time, on certain figures, the chrome would wear off on Henkei. Case in point, Megatron versus Henkei Megatron versus United Megatron. And there's two United Megatrons, but the one that's the Voyager Megatron, the one that turns into the Nerf gun, that one they did a better job of subduing that chrome paint. And they did the same here. He's only got chrome paint on the lights, but they do wear over time. And they gave him some nice paint accents, like these on the arms. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is the side flame pattern, but I do love this Rodimus, that orangey. There's no other version of Hot Rod that has this, so don't even try to compare it to that to the 2-pack, because I'll tell you, they're not the same. The paint job is much better. So what we're going to do is get into transformation. We'll come back with these later on, because those I have to transform off camera. So basically, you want to take the gun out. And like I showed you, the sliding waist mechanism, that's part of the transformation here. And, it shouldn't take me long. I should know how to do this. I've had this toy 400 times. Yeah, I've owned the Henkei version. I've owned the Sons of Cybertron version. I've owned the one from that 3-pack, that's United, with where he gets the Shining Blue, what's supposed to replicate him first holding the Matrix. I had that one too. I've had all of them. But this one I really, really like. And that sliding mechanism, you make sure you want to push that waist back. And basically, you want to make sure you fold this out. I hate that. That still happens to this toy, and I've had this thing so long. And it's been sitting in storage, but as you can see, I still have them. And you want to fold the feet up. And he's a great transformation. The plastic quality for basically 2006, because it's basically the same plastic quality, is arguably the best. Like, that's the one thing everybody prays for the Unicron trilogies. I still got Unicron trilogy toys that they're all plastic, but if I hit you in the head with them, you'll probably cry. Because the plastic quality is that good, And then we just want to make sure we do that, and gotta get all our tabs in place and see where it tabs in right there, and then you fold these out, and voila. And of course you push the wheels in, and then you would put this on the back, and you would have the flame. One of the best Rodimus Hot Rod toys, hands down. And now he has a 2-tone paint to him, which the other one doesn't have. Let me see if I can turn my f-stop up a second so you can see that. And you can see it. It's 2-tone. Like, he's got a deeper maroon here, and then the rest of him is that deep brick red and that orange chest. That's what I had somebody say, well, that's the one that came with. No. This is better. And I love this. I just dig it. Even though I don't care for the flame on the side, I really wish this was kind of a different type of flame. Other than that, though, I love it because basically it's saying that this is, Rodimus. And this was, I mean, look at that. And look at that. That's stunning. And I mean, it rolls so easily and effortlessly. Look at that. And I wish I had a something to put on him, you know, to kind of put like a power cord about him. I don't have any of those anymore. And if I do, they're in just storage. I really do give away a lot of toys, so don't be surprised if I don't own it anymore. But you're supposed to be able to put one on top of here. But yeah, this is one of the best looking car modes, man. It's so sleek. And this is what I was talking about with the lights and everything. Like the chrome over time just get a little, you know, you got to be careful with it. Like, that's the reason why with the Henkei toys, they United, they kind of subdued it. But yeah, this is one of the favorites, and we'll come back and do like a quick comparison. And quick comparison here with a Earthrise vehicle, and they're pretty much about the same size. Before we bring in the other two, let me put them to the side for a second, because we're going to compare the Rodimus vehicles. I mean, yeah, they're pretty much the same size. Let's put them back to back. Of course, the wheelbase is bigger. This is a little larger, but he would still fit in today's Earthrise. I mean, you know, I was watching videos of the Titans Return Rodimus, and that thing is ugly. I don't know what people seeing that. You can't see the wing. The shoulders are too big. At least they tried to fix it with the Legends version, but it still has issues. So I don't know if I'm going to get that one, because if I get that one, the Legends version, I'm getting it because I want the Target Master, because the Target Masters are nicer, the ones that came out with the Legends, than the ones that came with the Earthrise and Siege ones. They're a little smaller, but they're a lot nicer, and the plastic's better. So I might get that one, and that'll be video 3A, because this is number 3. But he's the same. I mean, they're the same size. He would fit just fine. I mean, you know, he's even got the same type of underside where everything kind of folds in place. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see why, if you had him or a Henkei version, or even the original version, or the one that came with Cyclonus. I actually own it, but I don't know where that is. I got it. It's in another box somewhere, but I don't have time to look for that. It's just, I need to relax. It's been going under a little pressure at work right now, so I need a break. I just need to not think. But yeah, that is pretty much spot on with a Earthrise car. And then I'm going to compare the Rodimus vehicles from Power to Primes. And here's the Rodimus Unicronus with labels, and then here's the Hot Rod Rodimus Prime figure. And you know, they look good. They're almost the same size, even though these are bigger. In robot mode, they're pretty much the same size. I mean, it's scary how ugly this is, though. It's just ugly. Like, this is better, even though it's not looking like Hot Rod. This is better. You know, those thick. But I mean, they did this on purpose. Because if they had gave us a good model with this, what would be the point of doing the Studio 86? You know what I mean? You know, it Power to Primes was a filler, definitely a filler line, and it wasn't the greatest, and probably the worst of the second, you know, I call it the secondary trilogy of Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and then Power to Primes. Because after that, now we're in Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom, the third trilogy, so to speak. But yeah, but the thing is, they're about the same size. Let's see if we can get a little comparison. You know, he's bigger, of course, because he's kind of mid deluxe Voyager size. But I mean, they're not, you know, it's not so much smaller. But this doesn't really transform. This is the extent of its transformation compared to this. This is, I mean, you know, comparable. And of course, you know, there's the dark version, which he has Repa labels on him too, because I made him a Shattered Glass. But that's how he compares, and he's pretty much the same size. So you don't have anything to worry about, you know, just either any of these, if you're not using these two would do, you know. And if you like Titans Return and that's your thing, or the Legends version, then hey, that's your thing. They don't look like Rodimus to me, and I'm not going to praise them. Sorry. So, really, we're just going to go to the conclusion, and we'll be right back. So, final thoughts. This is still a great figure. Always has been a great figure. Always will be a great figure. It's a fan favorite, whichever version you get. And it's all about what you like. Personally, it's either him or Henkei. And third would probably be the one from the Rodimus, from the Cyclonus Rodimus 2-pack or the Cyclonus Rodimus Galvatron 3-pack. It's the same toy, basically. I would say the weapon storage is simple because besides the missile, which I know it's somewhere, but you could store the gun on the back. And, you know, yeah, it makes him a little backpacky, but he still stands up. You have to admit, for 2006 engineering, this is one of the better pieces. This just should have been larger. A little larger, maybe stretched out a little bit so he could be a little bit bigger, you know, and maybe a waist swivel, which he may have. You might be able to make that happen, but I wouldn't. And the feet don't pivot. That's about it. But other than that, you could find this version, any version of this, for, I think, relatively. I haven't really looked on eBay for him lately because I've owned this for so long I didn't need any other version. But yeah, it's a fantastic figure for 2006. They did make some changes along the way, you know, to kind of modernize him, I guess, for that time. But other than that, he's a very good Rodimus, in my opinion. The Titans Return one, it just doesn't compare. And Power to Primes, height-wise, works, again, but just not as good as this one. So this will conclude number 3 video, Hot Rod, or Hot Rodimus, or Rodimus, from the Classics line on the road to the Studio 86. We're all looking forward to getting Hot Rod. You know, and then, of course, once we get him, I believe a lot of us will be replacing our figures. So I might just keep it. But other than that, if you're in the ballpark and looking for Rodimus and you can't find one, you need one, these are always readily available on eBay. And like I said, take the time to do your own shopping and research. Other than that, this is one of my favorite figures. For nostalgia purchases, I give him a 9 out of 10. For everything that it does, I give it a 10 out of 10 because it does it well and with easy effort. So please, if you have one, tell me your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Again, my name is Super Robot Ed. Thank you for watching the video, and have a happy Thanksgiving, and let's go get those toys.